Welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my 5 big ideas from Mandino's The Greatest Salesman in the World. I love this little book, and the reason that I love it is because I'm not a natural-born salesman. And as you and I both know, sales is super critical for success in life. And so developing our sales ability is absolutely essential. And any time is a great time to do this, but especially now with all the craziness in the world and structures and systems being totally put on their head and everyone having to kind of reinvent themselves and develop new ways of being and working in the world and making an impact and helping and serving other people, there is no better time to talk about this book than right now. In this review and this kind of the ideas that I'm going to share with you, one, I'm going to tell you about the card that I created that has all the scrolls on it, including one of the ideas I'm going to share with you, which I'll share with you in the first here. But also, I want to show you this little symbol right here. This is King Solomon's prosperity seal of business and success and prosperity, business and success and prosperity. That's what I put on my little picture of it. By the way, if you want this picture, you can find it at the blog post at gmarkphillips.com. I'll put the link below if you're watching this on YouTube, and you can check this out. I'll put it as a JPEG within that post. But I like that because it adds a little extra energy to this 10 scrolls, which I made for some friends and I to keep on my success wall, which is something that I look at quite often. Because like I said, this being a better salesperson is super, super powerful. So what I'm going to do first is share my 5 big ideas with you, and then we'll go through each of the scrolls. You probably know them, but I'll just talk a little bit about them, add some of my commentary on them because I love talking about those type of things. So for starters, let's start with number 1, which is I think the kind of the foundational big idea for this book, and that is the idea that Mandino talks about habits. And I actually put that at the top of this little card, and I'm going to read this to you. This is a direct quote from the book. He said, "Good habits are the key to all success. Bad habits are the unlocked door to failure. Thus the first law I will obey, which precedeth all others. I will form good habits and become their slaves." So I included that on here, even though it's not technically one of the scrolls. I view it as the foundation of success when you're applying the scrolls, right? So that's the first big idea I want to share with you is habits are super essential to success in anything in life, especially to being a successful salesperson. The second big idea is another quote from the book. "True wealth is of the heart and not the purse." True wealth is of the heart and not the purse. I love this because this ties into a lot of the other teachings that I really, really love and that I really find a lot of meaning into for life. And that is basically the teachings of Abraham. Abraham Hicks says that the real purpose of life is joy. And if you want to really gauge your success in life, you're going to gauge it by how much joy you feel at any given point in time. Now, there's never anything mentioned about money in that statement at all. It's all about the joy. It's like, how much joy do you feel in your life? Another way that I like to look at this, everyone wants to be a millionaire, everyone wants to be a billionaire, even a trillionaire, but maybe you should look at your life in this sense. How about being a joyonaire, right? How about having a million, aspects of joy in your life, or $1 million worth of joy, something like that, right? That's a joyonaire, and I think that is really in alignment with how we should live our lives. Because, again, going back to Abraham Hicks, their statement says, hey, when you find joy, everything you want is going to find you. It's really, really powerful, but it's a subtle shift. And if we pursue the joy, then we ultimately end up finding everything else. So that's the second big idea I want to share with you. True wealth is of the heart, not of the purse, and I equate that to feeling of joy. The third big idea I want to share with you is, again, another quote from the book, "Only principles endure." This kind of goes back to the idea of habits being a foundational idea from this book. Principles are really the only thing that's going to endure. Techniques are going to change. Maybe the way we present ourselves is going to change. The way we sell is going to change. I mean, prior to the internet, nobody sold on the internet, right? Now, when the advent of the internet, people are selling on the internet. There's going to be definitely revolutions in sales going forward, right? Who knows how it's going to evolve? We don't know. But principles of selling will never change, which is fill a need or want of your customer better than anyone else, care more, be their trusted advisor, help them get everything they want and need in their business and their life, and help them succeed. That's like a principle of sales because you're helping another person get what they want. So principles will never change, but the techniques and the way we do it may in fact change. That's the third idea I want to share with you. Number fourth big idea is about failure and success. Now I want to read this little passage to you from page 54 in the book here. Mandino talks about success as being a state of mind. I love that because everything begins in consciousness first before it's expressed or manifest into the material world. Emmett Fox said, life is consciousness. So this is a direct quote from the book here for what is success other than a state of mind. So that's the fourth big idea I want to share with you, that success begins as a state of mind. If we don't see ourselves as successful and have the consciousness of success, we'll never realize it in the material world. It's super, super powerful. So all the sales scripts that you could do, all of the phone calls you could make or people you could meet, if you don't have that consciousness of success, none of it is going to work. I also equate this kind of to getting in the state of being of a successful salesperson, right? And embodying a successful salesperson. How would you move? How would you feel? How would you go about your day? Super, super powerful when you're talking about being successful in anything, let alone being a salesperson. All right, that's the fourth big idea. The fifth big idea, I kind of saved this one till last because I think it's appropriate, and it's about fear. I'm also going to read a passage to you from page 94, and basically it's about how fear can keep us from taking action. Now here's what Mandino says. This is a direct quote. My procrastination, which has held me back, was born of fear. And now I recognize this secret mind from the depths of all courageous hearts. Now I know that to conquer fear, I must always act without hesitation, and the flutters in my heart will vanish. I love that. Act without hesitation, and the flutters will vanish. I got to share something with you that I just thought of after I finished this passage. Okay, I'm going to continue. Now I know that action reduces the lion of terror to an ant of equanimity. But I really love that. Talking about fear, and specifically when you act, the fear goes away. And what I was going to share with you is there is a quote that I put in actually in The Alchemy of Despair. I think it's super awesome. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to find it here for you because it ties in nicely with what Mandino was talking about here. And I want to share this with you because it's so important to take the action, right? And not let fear keep us stuck. This is from Alchemy of Despair. It's one of my favorite quotes, and I don't know who said it. I want to say it might have been Stephen Mitchell, but I could be wrong about that. I wish I knew because I would give them super credit. But anyway, here it is. A famous Japanese swordsman once said, "My enemy stands before me. I draw my sword and I am in hell. I take one step forward and I am in heaven." Thinking about something gives us a problem and we torment ourselves with the finding of a solution. Once we act, there is no problem to pore over. I've always loved that quote, and that just reminds me that once we get into action, everything's just going to flow in the way that it's supposed to, and we get out of our head and we kind of embody what we're doing and we actually move forward. I think it's one of the biggest hindrances to success for human beings in life is this constantly being in our headspace and not just going for it, whether that is, walking up and meeting someone or taking a chance, taking a risk in a business or personal venture or whatever it may be that's scary to you, going for it and getting in action. And once you're in motion, it's either going to work or it's not going to work. And ultimately, That's the only way to get better at stuff. This has been one of the biggest realizations on my own journey of pushing into my fear and anxiety and worry, is that ultimately doing the thing is the only way we're going to get better. And I kind of look at it as you have to suck so much at the beginning before you get better. I know this is definitely true. When I started the podcast probably over 3 years ago-ish now, I knew that I had to just go for it or I would never get better. I had to suck and fail over and over again and be okay with that and embrace that and actually go through that before I would actually get better and better. And still, believe me, I want to get better and better still. I'm always improving. But I do know now that it's never going to happen by thinking about it or planning to do it or trying to watch videos on how to give better presentations or be a better podcaster or be a better video person, be better on camera, all that stuff. It only happens with action. I also like to say that action is our real guru. Action is the best teacher, actually getting in action, doing the thing over and over and over again, and then reflecting on what we did so that we can make those subtle refinements. Because once we put ourselves out there, we see, oh, I'm going to change this next time. I'm going to do this next time. I'm going to be more effective or more focused, or maybe I'm going to find a way to be more valuable or helpful or more engaging. All those things only come from taking action and then reflecting on that action. Okay, I got off on a little bit of a tangent there, but hopefully that's beneficial to you on your journey. Those are the 5 big ideas I want to share with you. Now, I didn't mention this at the beginning of the video, but I want to share how I, as a creator, I fall definitely in the archetype of creator, how I, as a creator, view salesmanship and actually become a better salesperson, even though it's not my natural tendency, right? I'm more of kind of an introverted type person that loves bringing ideas into the world and creating. And maybe you're like this too. I have notebooks and cards of ideas I want to implement or possibly implement in my business, things I want to make. Focus and Flow was one of those ideas, the podcast, all different series of those ideas, right? It's all about turning ideas to things. And so being a creator, sometimes I feel that sales is not my strong point, but the way I get around this is by understanding that I love helping people. I love helping people solve their problems. I love asking them, hey, what's your vision for this? What outcome do you want? And just like totally sitting next to them and getting into what they want, right? Talking about their goals and dreams, their needs, their desires. And it makes me step outside of myself and get really super into what they want. I did this in my prior career in design and space planning. I loved walking into office spaces, finding the person who needed who my contact was, and sitting down with them and really diving in to what they need and want in their space and what they want the outcome to be, how they work, right? What type of processes and workflows and systems they're using day to day, what's working, what isn't, what changes they want to see made. All those things are fascinating to me. And my favorite thing, and this ties in what I'm saying here, is when people say, you know what, I don't know what I want. I have no idea what I want. I have no idea where to start. I love that. I love that each time because I do know where to start. And I walk those people through a step-by-step process on how to go about creating the best space that's going to serve their needs in the best way. And there's really no difference doing that than what I'm doing now. That's why I love this so much. Sharing best practices for living, talking about business and lifestyle design. Nothing lights me up more than talking with people who don't know what they want to do with their lives, right? To that point, I guess I should give a free plug for the packet of tools that you can get when you sign up to my website or my email newsletter at gmarkphillips.com. I call them tools for conscious creators. And when I'm talking about people who don't know what they want to do with their lives, I have a specific tool in there that helps people decide what they should do with their lives, because everyone's different, right? You're different than me. You're going to want to have different experiences in your life. You're going to want to do different things, but the principles to how we arrive at what we want to do in our lives are the same, right? There's questions and there's quotes and there's ideas from other people that really help you tune in to what you want to do. Now, of course, I'm always going to add an online component or encourage people to add an online component to what they do and express themselves online, be valuable to other people's other people in an online space, in an online way, but still the way you express yourself and the logistics of going about that are going to be radically different. Let me give you a little example. Maybe you love to cook. Maybe you like to make wholesome, nutritious, high vibrational food that helps people raise their energy, have better experiences in life, feel better, look better. You could parlay that component into an online business and go that route. Or maybe you're a really good mechanic. Maybe you want to do something where you blend your love for mechanic and fixing things in an online space and go that route. So as you can see, different people have different talents and attributes and qualities. They're good in some areas. They love to do certain things. They have natural affinities for other things. Getting to the heart of what that is and finding out what wants to come through you, what little voice wants to be expressed through you, what your little voice is telling you to go do, is really super fun for me. I love it all the time. So I want to invite you to go check out Tools for Conscious Creators, and specifically that tool that addresses, what do I do with my life? I don't know what I want to do. There's so many options. I love a lot of things. How do I narrow it down? What's going to be my one thing? Like not Stephen Covey, Gary Keller and Jay Papasan talked about in The One Thing. What's your one thing, right? That you would do for free, that you love to do, that you could parlay into a successful online business. Okay, I know I got a little bit up on a tangent there, but hopefully that's helpful to you on your journey. Again, that's how I overcome my lack of natural sales ability, is I just want to help the customer and the client solve their problem so much. I get so into it that it takes over, and I just love that process. And hopefully they get a lot of value out of that too, because I really am in it for them. So those are my 5 big takeaways from Og Mandino's The Greatest Salesman in the World. Now, very quickly before I wrap up this video, I want to read each of the 10 scrolls to you. And again, I'm reading from this card right here. So number 1, first scroll is Today I Begin a New Life. I love this scroll because it reminds me of a quote that I found back in the day. I forget who said it, but it is, every day is a new life to a wise man. Every day is a new life to a wise man. This first scroll reminds me of that. Scroll number 2, I will greet this day with love in my heart. Can't get better than that. Scroll number 3, I will persist until I succeed. All successful people tell us their number 1 quality is persistence, because every successful person has failed over and over and over again, and they could have given up at any point in time. Persistence is what brought them through. This was one of the underlying themes in the 10X Growth Conference that I recently attended in end of February down in Las Vegas. And I talked about this in some of the videos that I created about that conference, where I share some big ideas. I'll link those videos in the show notes beneath this description on YouTube and also at gmarkphillips.com. But scroll number 3, I will persist until I succeed, is huge. Scroll number 4, I am nature's greatest miracle. Who can't think of that enough? That's such a great idea to think about. Scroll number 5, I will live this day as if it were my last. That's an awesome way to look at the day. Scroll number 6, today I will be master of my emotions. When I think of this scroll, I always think of the idea that, again, is a foundational success principle, that we're never going to feel like doing, or we're not always going to feel like doing the thing that we know we should do to move our business or life forward, right? We're not always going to feel like it. But if we allow our emotions to rule us, and we don't push into that fear or that uncomfortableness or that laziness, right, and discipline ourselves, we'll never get success. So I really love this scroll number 6, today I will be master of my emotions. Scroll number 7, I will laugh at the world. Scroll number 8, today I will multiply my value 100-fold. When I think of this scroll, I always think of the quote, I think it was Einstein that said it, try not to be a man of success, but be a man of value. I think about that a lot because it shifts our perspective, and we think, okay, how can I be valuable? Because I always look at life as kind of like tangents, or I should say causes and effects. When we become valuable, and more valuable to more people more often, the effect will be success. But if you just go for success first, you kind of miss out on the cause, And it can kind of be empty or hollow if you ever really realize success, right? Because again, you're focusing on the effect and not focusing on the cause, which would be the value component, and success is the effect component. That's why I think a lot of people miss the mark when they shoot for success, is they just try to be successful without looking at what the cause of success is. Like Earl Nightingale says, you got to put the wood in first before people value you, right? You got to give them value before they're going to value you. So I look at it that way. Scroll number 9, I will act now. Scroll 10, I will pray for guidance and I will pray as a salesman. I love this one because it reminds me that I never want to pray for it to be easy or for it to be quick or for me to realize all of my goals and dreams instantaneously. I always want to pray for guidance like Og Mandino talks about here. And also I want to pray for knowledge and wisdom, that I will know if I'm not on the right path. I will know if I'm not in full alignment. I will know if I'm not being my true authentic self. And then I'll make course corrections there. Like, I want to take all the actions. 1, because they're fun, and 2, because that's what causes us to become better, right? That's how we develop ourselves, is by taking the action, like I talked about earlier in this video, getting the feedback, and then making revisions and refinements and moving forward. I mean, that's why we really came here. Life would be really, really boring if we got everything we ever wanted instantaneously. Pretty soon, that would get really freaking old, right? So the process of developing ourselves, I think, is one of the kind of unseen, or like, it's not something that people really think they want, but I think we all want that eventually. We want it to be a little challenging, right? If games were easy, they'd be no fun. If games didn't require us to kind of strategize and think and then change the way we look at things and change perspectives, it wouldn't be very fun. We don't want the game of life to be too easy or too fun. So those are the 10 scrolls, in addition to my 5 big takeaways from The Greatest Salesman in the World. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be doing a lot more book reviews like this on my channel. So if you like this, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this. Also, all the other streams of content. Again, all designed to help you create the business and lifestyle that you want from the inside out as a creator. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, all the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.